A good many of us do not have a clear picture of what the CIA does. I think many of us believe it is an intelligence gathering agency, that it gets information, that information becomes intelligence, and then it passes it on to key areas in the government. Is that an accurate impression?
No, it isn't. It's my view, and it's supportable by all the evidence we can see in the Church Committee report and the Pike Committee report and other collateral information. The CIA is not an intelligence agency. It's a covert action agency. Covert action being overthrowing or supporting foreign governments. Another part of covert action is disinformation. And the American people, in my estimation, are the primary target audience of the agency's disinformation operation. And I view Vietnam, the entire Vietnam War, was brought to us, sold to us, by agency disinformation operations. When I say us, I mean the American people.
Well, that had to be done, of course, through the press.
Yes.
How else would one reach the American public? Well, how does the CIA develop its relationship with the press?
Well, it happens on many levels in many different ways. It could be a director of agency contact with a publisher, or it could be a lower-level agency employee with a lower-level person, or managing editor, per se. Or it could be hiring agency people, and placing them in the news organization. Or it could be giving information to a reporter and winning his goodwill. It could be just a friendship sort of basis. It sort of covers the skein of relationships that you can have, you know, in any social situation.
This relationship demands participation on the part of the press, though, does it not?
Oh, of course.
Well, how does it participate?
It can participate in many ways. It can publish articles that the agency wants published.
Knowingly publish it because the CIA wants it done, or
oh,
unknowingly?
Yes. Well, both. Knowingly most of the time, I would guess. And sometimes the information is passed to a reporter as valid information, a good scoop, if you will, when it's just planted propaganda. So the agency uses the press in numerous ways to achieve its, what I call, illusion-building properties.
When you were with the CIA in Vietnam, did you have any direct connection with the press?
No, I didn't. I do know of the case of the press in Saigon in the early 50s, where they were meeting directly with Colonel Lansdale. 5 members of the most prestigious newspapers in the United States were meeting with Colonel Lansdale, the agency's man in Saigon. And
how often would they meet?
Quite frequently. I don't know the exact frequency. But you will look at the press coverage for that era, and you'll find no mention of agency activities in the press. Yet the agency was totally responsible for the creation of the Diem regime. It created the Diem regime. It built an illusion about the Diem regime, and it used the press to sell the illusion to the United States, the illusion that lives on today in the United States.
Do you think that those 5 members of whom you speak had any idea that they were being used?
The atmosphere of those days where the press and the government were so in tune on the issues that I believe it was a very much a cooperative effort more than a using effort. The press viewed the situation as the government did, and both cooperated in putting across the stories. The
CIA were good folks with which one could be associated? Was that what you're saying at that time?
At that time, yes. Of course, the agency developed what they called Wisner's Wurlitzer. That was what they call an organ that he could play any tune he wanted anywhere in the world at any time. Supposedly they owned one newspaper in any country of the world, and whatever articles they want run, whatever themes that they wanted to propagate, all he had to do was just press the right buttons, and those articles and themes would come up in those countries.
I think we'd like to know who Wisner was.
Wisner was a former deputy chief of the operations branch of the CIA.
I see. And he created the Wurlitzer.
He created the Wurlitzer. And we find now, this came under the corporate action staff of the agency, and from recent information, William Casey is concentrating all his efforts in rebuilding the agency in developing the corporate action staff. That's the staff that develops in international organizations, international press organizations, international organizations of all types, that penetrates press, religious, academic institutions, here home and abroad. This is where he's concentrating the rebuilding effort.